Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. These fly Eagles fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
It's
Here
a
comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You might do it, Kick Dingbat here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 500 Joeyshakes. Joey, what is up, my man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We got we're getting into the rest of May. We got June coming for post-June stuff, and a lot more stuff to talk about. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. Yeah, it's been an interesting week since the last time we talked. So we'll get into it and all that. What's going on, everybody? I see Eagles 1278 here. James Worthy, Lord of Darkness, Art, Donnie, Mr. Glock, EJB, Ryan, Laceyford. What's going on? Lamont, Donald, Sean, anybody here? See Philly Girl, what's up? Thank you guys so much for being here. I guess like the last time we talked was right before the schedule came out. But bing, bang, boom, we get the schedule. And this was it. I mean, what are your thoughts, on it? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's the seventh best schedule, so I don't think nothing's ever easy. I think you could say more manageable, where you have a schedule in the beginning where, you have a couple games in Washington and Tennessee where you should beat both of those teams. You have, I think, a good test the first 4 weeks where two teams that you should beat, and then you have obviously the Monday night with the Bears, and then you have a big game home against LA. I think that's going to be a nice, I think, for Mannion, the play calling, and hopefully these players somewhat playing in preseason, going into the preseason would be great. The London game, week 5, everyone was kind of surprised we didn't really have a bye week coming off that. Glad it wasn't that early. The week 10 bye is actually it's pretty good. It's actually perfect, to be honest with you, in my opinion. So at least you have a home game coming off that London game, which is good. And then you have a nice stretch of a short week between week 7 to 8 in division games for those straight 3 weeks before the bye. So those are ones that you really have to win. You got the bye week and Battle of PA with the Steelers, which is going to be a nice one. Thanksgiving week is going to be fucking crazy because it's almost like the Thanksgiving games aren't even really exciting anymore. It's more football that week, but it's crazy. You have games on Sunday, games on Monday. Now you have a Thanksgiving Eve game between Green Bay and the Rams now, which is insane. The first ever Thanksgiving Eve game. And then you have 3 games on Thanksgiving. The Eagles play obviously at 4:30 on November 26th against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And then coming off Thanksgiving, realistically, you got the Cardinals. You have a stretch of teams like the Colts at home. And then you have a Saturday game in a short week against Seattle, the defending Super Bowl champions. And then back-to-back primetime games Thursday night and Sunday night between the Texans and San Francisco, and the last game to be determined. So, I mean, when I kind of look at this schedule, I think it's a nice balance. I think there's a nice stretch. The last few years we've had some. I mean, last year we had 4 or 5 playoff teams. 4 to 5 playoff teams the first 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. So it's not bad. So it's okay. Where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in terms of competition wise, I think it's fine. I think if you could start off 3-1, 4-0, I think you're set up pretty good. Don't ever remember a team going, and I'm sure it's happened, but usually teams get bye weeks after going to London, but that's fine. Then you could play Thanksgiving. That's fine. You might as well take your Christmas Eve. That's fine. And maybe we'll have some May games, and we could throw an April game in. I mean, why not? Like at this point, I hate what the NFL has done. I don't like games every night. It's just my opinion. I think that there's something to the build up that is lost.
Yeah.
Something to the special part of Thanksgiving that's lost. But in terms of just, competition wise, I mean, I'll put this up again real quick one last time. I think your stretch with the Bears, the Rams, right? Jacksonville, I'm assuming, is a playoff team. I don't know what to think of Carolina. Like, I don't know. Is Carolina going to be another playoff team? Because that could be a little bit of a hard stretch. But then that Seattle, Houston, San Fran is a big week, is a big 3 weeks, because you struggle with the Niners of recent. And, sorry, but I can't pick the Eagles to beat Seattle until they actually do it. Just like I'm not pick the Rams to beat the Eagles until they do it. And then, I mean, I think Houston's a pretty good team. I think they're a playoff team. So I think there's two stretches in there, but we won't go through week for week predictions. I already did one, and I'll do a couple more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they've got a floor of about 11 wins and a ceiling of about 14. So I think somewhere between that 11-14 range is where they should finish up.
And like I feel like you kind of overlook it because it's like, all right, well, they finally have, I guess, what everyone calls an easy schedule, but I don't think it's as easy as everyone thinks. I think it's a nice test for this play calling and Sean Mannion, and see kind of where this goes the first 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, you kind of take it, for example, like I think the Eagles had the third best schedule 2022, and they rocked it the entire year, and then obviously lost at the end. Washington, had an easy schedule 24, and they were hyped up to kind of win it all after the Hail Mary pass game against the Chicago Bears. They were really talked about every single week, like crazy. And look what happened at the end of the year. Look at the Patriots, and their schedule's brutal this year now. So, do you think this is an easy schedule?
I don't necessarily consider it easy, but I think it's favorable.
Yeah.
If you look at like, if you look at some of the big games, right? You got, to me, the toughest teams that you play on the schedule, in my opinion, the two toughest teams are the Rams and Seattle. They're both home games. That makes a world of difference that those two games are home, So I think in that regard, I think that they play most of their hard games at home, it seems. Like, I think they could beat the Bears on the road. I really do. I think they can beat, the Cardinals and the 49ers. We've just, we haven't played good the last few times around them. But I think it's favorable in that regard.
I do. And I think like, I think the Colts will be a better team. The Steelers are up in the air. They just signed Aaron Rodgers yesterday, so they got their starting quarterback now. So I don't really see anything that's like, oh yeah, we got this entire schedule. I don't think so. Plus the NFC East as well, because everyone has gotten better. The Giants have gotten better. Washington, everyone has had a pretty good draft. It's really just how all the pieces come together. I can't see the Giants really putting together an 11-win season, maybe like 8 to 10, or maybe in that area. Maybe they get a little bit better, but I can't see. I
mean, have you seen that? Like, I hear like Mark Holmes stuff talking about over 9.5 wins for Dallas, and dude, I think Dallas has got a brutal schedule. Like, I think their schedule looks harder than our schedule. Like, they've got some, like, they got the first 2 weeks are winnable, but then they've got stacks of just teams that I don't think they're going to beat. I think they're going to stink this year. I do.
Yeah, probably. They might.
It'll be interesting. Carlos, thank you for the super chat, my man. So, best of the game, 500 and shakes. Way to go, Bird.
What up?
Thank you, my man. You the man.
Thanks,
thank you. Maurice Steele, thank you for super chat. Keep in mind that we don't have to be on a plane for 40-some days. Yeah, that's definitely a nice thing. My issues with the schedule are not the way it lines up who we play. It's just personal reasons, It's like it's just personal things for me. Like getting up at 4 a.m. to stream is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And then Thanksgiving Day is kind of ruined now. Christmas Eve is kind of ruined now. But, it is what it is. Green Wingman, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. What gave the NFL an advantage over other sports was limited availability. Not the want to satiate the sport with a ton of bad games for this streaming sites. Yeah, I agree. I saw somebody who's like, I don't understand. It was like one of the Eagles beat reporters. I forget who. They were like, I don't understand. People always complain they want to see more football. Now they'll get it. Problem is that you can't be available every single day of the week for football. Football has a really good buildup. And then if you look at the quality of play, like the Thursday night games are horrible. They're always horrible because one, teams are not rested enough for those games. And you put bad teams on to schedules. You just don't put the best games on. So it's not like you're getting more games, but you're getting like watered down football. If a guy has a half an injury, they're going to sit him. Not to mention now it's like you have to go get the NFL ticket. You have to get ESPN. You have to get Paramount. You have to get Peacock. They're actually getting investigated for that, and they should.
Yeah,
they should.
And Netflix has 4 or 5 games this year. I mean, it's a lot. It's you're spending. I mean, because in the beginning when these streaming services came out for anything, I'm talking movies, I'm talking TV shows. It used to be the cheap way to watch movies. That's what it was.
Right.
Now it's every year. Right. Prices are going up. People can't afford all this shit. I mean, Sunday ticket for me, and it sucks. You live in the Philadelphia area, good for you, because I'm paying like $400. I don't know how much it is, $330, $400 just because I can't watch my team and I live in another state. You know what I mean? It's kind of fucking
expensive.
Nuts.
It is. I was the first year Sunday ticket. When I was the first year Sunday ticket
Dish
became available on Dish on DirecTV, I had it. I've never not had it. I've had it for my whole ever since it came out back in the 90s. When I was living in Jersey, we had it. But now it's like you've got to get that. Then you've got to get Paramount. You got to get Prime. You got to get all these other streaming services, or you can't watch it even after you're paying all this money. They are ripping people off, and it ain't right. You should be one ticket. You should be able to see whatever games. I think that's how I agree.
I agree.
Nick, thank you for the super chat. He goes, I really think AJ doesn't go to the Pats anymore. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's going to be that's getting very, very interesting. If you're following that, it's starting to get interesting. We're gonna talk about that. Roll Philly Dogs, thank you for the super chat. Call me crazy, but if we trade AJ to the Jags, I don't want BTJ. If we got a solid wide receiver room, I'd rather have more draft capital. I agree with you. I agree. Now, BTJ, I might consider him. But, they talk about Butte for the Patriots is not showing up at camp or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't he stinks?
Yeah.
He stinks. I don't want him. I like what we got with Wicks, and now you've got Lemon. We don't need him. You don't need him.
I think Mannion's trying to push out whatever other wide receivers we have, especially Hollywood Brown's only on a 1-year deal. Johnny Wilson needs to push. Yeah. Darius Cooper needs to push. But I mean, like, he's rebuilding the fucking wide receiver core. He's rebuilding that whole entire lineup. So, I mean, Booty wouldn't be probably a bad signing, but he's not going to start. He'll probably be a backup 3. But with a lot of starting experience, I mean, he had over 500 yards last year and 6 touchdowns as a number 2 behind Diggs. But, I know. I get it.
Yeah, then it's like Diggs is another one. The Eagles are one of the favorites to land Diggs. Really? Like, I mean, I get it. In Green Bay, Mannion was with a team that had a lot of depth at receiver. They didn't have maybe the A.J. Brown, but they had a lot of good receivers. Right. I get it. But I think you've got enough at this point, dude. Fabio, thank you for super chat. Would the Chargers trade Derwin James for AJ? Now, to me, and thank you for the super chat. My my knowledge of the Derwin James situation is to me, I think that's more of an Eagles fans
I think
thought or hope or wish, because I haven't seen anywhere where there has been any talk of the Chargers moving on from Derwin James. I just think that's something that we as fans would love, because would I love that? Yes, 1,000%. But I don't see that happening, you know. Pick Six Nick says, I don't want him going to Chiefs. Well, obviously, we'll just jump right into A.J. Brown situation, because everybody's talking about it. But, I mean, I guess we're getting reports. Over the last 2 weeks, it's kind of gotten interesting, because we're getting reports now that the Chiefs are getting possibly involved in this situation. The 49ers are getting involved. Yeah. And then the newest one of a couple of days ago is that the Jaguars are deciding to get into this. And you know, Howie had to know this was going to happen, that if he held out and didn't trade him, and we talked about this, let teams go through the draft. They don't come away with the receiver they're looking for. More teams are going to get interested in him. We may actually get a bidding war with the A.J. Brown situation, Joey.
Nah, and you want to drive the price up. This is going to be the perfect. I mean, look, we waited. We're like, how are no other teams involved? And obviously, because of Diana Rossini situation, all that's been going on, that the Patriots have been the only team that's been pushed because of that bullshit that was going on. So I'm telling you, once we hit June 1st, it's all going to come crashing down. There's going to be multiple teams. There's going to be a huge bidding war. The price is going to go up, and the Eagles might get a lot more than they probably realized they were going to get, and maybe a player on top of it that they can go get as well. So I keep it.
I would love it. I would love for him to go to the Jaguars, somewhere not named New England, just because. It's funny, because if you go back and you look, like when Vrabel got there, the AJ Brown stuff started like almost immediately, and now you wonder with the Rossini things and everything that went on there, how much tampering really went on. Because I can't believe the league wants to sweep it all under the rug, but man, there's some major tampering, and now, you know, if you go back and you read some stuff like online, it's more than just A.J. Brown. There's stuff that goes back to Tennessee, to trades for like Julio Jones. Like there's quite a few different things that have happened.
Which I didn't even know.
Which there has been a whole setup. Yeah, people didn't see it at first, but now everybody's going back, going, you know. Like the trade value, I think, for Julio Jones, Rossini basically wiped out before he went to Tennessee. Like things like that. So it's nasty work, dude. Nasty work. JJ, member for 70 months. Thanks so much. I like the new wide receiver room, to be honest. No getting around it. Losing AJ is a huge blow, pause. But I think they won't feel the need to force the balls anymore now. The offense might run more fluid in Mannion's offense. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can't say that, you know, anybody that says that they're better without him, I just don't agree with. You're losing a talented player. However, there's more than one way, you know, as they say, to skin a cat. And the Eagles will have multiple guys to make up for what you lose in AJ. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Screaming Paranormal, thank you for the super chat. Howie about to Houdini someone's draft picks, laughing my ass off. Agreed. And listen, if it all falls through and he stays one more year, oh shucks, I'm not going to be upset. Yeah, but they have to spread out the production that you would get from AJ into other positions. I mean, don't put the whole game on Devontae and AJ Brown. And that's what they usually did every single game. And you have your run game, and then you really depend on two guys. They really have to get their tight ends involved. I mean, they got a multitude of running backs that they could use, and they're probably going to implement a fullback most likely. I mean, there's so much that they could do. You know, not that, like I said, like you said it perfectly. Like it's not going to. I don't want to say that the offense can't get better. I think they can be better. You know, and Mekhi Lemon has yet to show like what he could do, you know, and how they're going to use him. But I feel like I'm very optimistic about it and how they're going to, you know, use a lot of these players this year. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, you know, if you kind of look at what Green Bay too, the other thing that they did really well in Green Bay, and I'm hoping Mannion could take this from them, is I love the way they use the tight ends. I mean, tight ends are really effective. So if we implement that into this offense, I'll be very happy about. I can't wait for the A.J. Brown stuff to go away. I know you probably too, but at the same time, it's starting to get a little bit interesting because there are more teams starting to get into this, and somehow we can come away with a 2027 first. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, 27. I mean, they would probably rather have the 27 first than the 28 first because that's what the Patriots are probably going to give up, and maybe a 27 second. And I think they might try to grab a player. So who knows? So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, did you see just moving along in offense? Did you see the thing with Loeffler, the former quarterback coach, what he said about Jalen Hurts and the fact that he's been working out with him this all season? That's pretty interesting. It pretty much went against everything that came out and was said about Jalen Hurts. I thought it was a really telling statement by him.
It's almost like he was shutting everybody up, and kind of just saying it in his own words, but not in a telling everybody off type of way. I mean, because I don't know why there was a lot of rumors last year where Loeffler, that he was getting involved in the play calling or trying to help, or, we don't really have any concrete news that was actually true, but we saw some of the formations that looked pretty much similar to what Loeffler did when he was in college, being the offensive coordinator at Bowling Green. But I think you could take a lot from that. And surprisingly, they didn't keep Loeffler. I don't know why, when you have a close relationship with a guy like that, they don't keep a guy like that. And then Parks Frazier, I think Parks Frazier and Hurts do I think there is somewhat of a good relationship there. I mean, Parks Frazier has been a part of a multitude of other teams that had different schemes and trying to adapt quarterbacks to those schemes. So I don't know why you wouldn't keep Loeffler if they were this close, which we didn't know. So it makes no fucking sense.
It's crazy. Then Patullo, did you see him come out?
Yeah.
That guy, he helped to build this. From the ground up. If you take those two things, what Patullo said, and then Loeffler coming out, there is no doubt in my mind. The rat all along, it was Patullo.
Yeah,
and it was him. And to me, it is weird that the guy your quarterback gets along with and does the work, you get rid of him. I mean, I do. I think that's really, kind of crazy. I don't know if that was Mannion or what, but
that was crazy. Patullo's pitch to get a fucking job, because that's what he said to every team, or however how many interviews he had, probably not much, that he built this team, this scheme from the ground up the last 5 years. He looked like a thank God he's gone. Thank God he's gone, bro. I couldn't even.
I know. I'm telling you, I really think that he was a lot of cause of the problems last year. I really believe that. Barbie the Doll Princess of YouTube, what is going on? Hey, what's happening? How are you? It was no secret the Eagles really wanted O-lineman for the future in the first round this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was just that he went early, or what, but I mean, they got a couple guys I think I like, I wish Stoutland was there. I did see there are reports that, I guess there's been write-ups saying that Becton the Eagles are the best fit right now for Becton, and maybe he's an option to bring in as at least the depth piece. Cheap right now because he still hasn't found.
How did he not sign with anybody yet?
I think my guess is that I think teams think that year with the Eagles he was like
a fluke.
Maybe not a fluke, but he had Lane Johnson and Juergens next to him and Stoutland, and is he going to be the same without having a Stoutland there type guy there?
So do you feel that Tyler Steen and Markel Bell will be competing for that right guard spot this year?
I think that, in my personal opinion, yes. But I don't think that they're going to tell us that. Like, I don't think it'll be broadcast. Yeah, there's an open competition there. But I do feel like there will be some sort of and maybe you could throw in Morris too. I think there could be. And like I said, I think Steen's a good player. I think he's a good starter, but his contract is running out. And
this year, right?
And if they feel that there's not that much of a difference between what he's producing and what they're getting from those guys, I could see them definitely doing it. Yeah, after this year. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't. I don't know. Like, I can't. I think in secret, Markel, they're gonna play the crap out of Markel Bell. They're gonna put him in an entire preseason game. Like, they're going to. If you see guys in preseason games that are playing for 4 quarters, that's a good thing. That means they really want to see this guy work out. They really want to see more from a player. So I'm going to say that they're going to play him a lot. That first preseason game, they're going to have him in there for 4 quarters, and he's just going to go. They're just going to see what he's got the entire game. I think in secret, they want him to start at right guard, whether he becomes the future right guard or he becomes the future right tackle if Lane Johnson doesn't retire after this year. Because, you never know with him. You might say, I can play another year. So who knows? So, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Philly Fire says, New Orleans safety Reed in the works. Yeah, I mean, there's rumors about Reed being shopped around, but nothing concrete in terms of, he's definitely going to go,
Yeah, I mean, you got Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore's out there, guys. Like, he wanted.
Yeah, he's out there.
You could move Cooper DeJean at safety full time if that's what you want to do. It's another thing which I'm like, I feel like. Do you feel like when you move DeJean to outside? I mean, like the Vikings game when they moved him to outside in red zone defensively because they want him for the matchup for that one play. That's fine, but I'm saying, like, do you think that handicaps DeJean putting him at safety, putting him at outside corner? Do you think it handicaps his ability, or it makes him less of a player putting him at those 2 positions?
I think outside corner, I think there's a little bit of fall off. I just think he needs the experience to play there. I think he's good enough to become good there. But I think at nickel, he's the best in the league. And I think at safety, it would take him 2 years. He'd be the best safety in football. I think he's just that talented. But I prefer to keep him in that nickel corner spot right now. Base defense, you want to move him to safety. You like a certain matchup in the red zone. Like, I get it. I think that we're going to see that eventually with him, more in that like Swiss Army knife type role. But for right now, I just keep him in the slot, and that's how I would do it. And I think the safety spot is. I think they're going to camp with what they have. I think they look at Michael Carter and they're going to move him to safety. And they're going to go into camp. They're going to watch and see how he does. They're going to see how Epps is. If they're not happy with what they're getting in camp during preseason, I think that's when they make the move for safety. But they're going to go in, I think, to camp with what they have.
Yeah, Justin Simmons, you might want to unretire because
thing is he retired, but he didn't play at all last year either.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played in 2 years.
That's true. Yeah,
that's what I worry about. Have the rumors for AJ Gonzo? Well, the Gonzo part is another Eagle fan's hope, I think, more than anything else. And it's my conspiracy theory because he was at the Devontae Smith softball game. But I don't think that is a reality. I think it's going to be all picks, is what I think it's going to be. Green Wingman, thank you for the super chat. The only reason why AJ is going to the Pats is a relationship between Lurie and Kraft. Lurie is from Boston area and works with him on NFL media and broadcast negotiations. Makes me wonder why the owner has been quiet. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a benefit, but at the end of the day, they still gotta be the highest bidder. Like if I'm the Eagles, just because I work with a guy or I'm friendly with a guy, I'm not sending him to you because I'm friends with you. You have to compensation wise has to be there. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to pay more than anybody else is offering. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we will see, though. There's no question about it. And thank you for the super chat. Let's see. The game against Seattle is on my birthday. I thought it was safe being a Saturday. Yeah, no days are safe this year. That's for sure. That game to me. I mean, if the Eagles go in and they beat Seattle and they could get that monkey off their back with that team owning us for the last 10 years, I think it could be huge. That could be an NFC Championship matchup, really.
The past two Super Bowl winners facing off in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it's a big game. It's a lot to prove.
Game.
Yeah.
Late in the year, I mean, you don't know what the seedings are going to be if everything goes right. So I mean that's a monster game. That division, I mean, you look at it. You got the Rams, you got the Niners in that division, and I mean, I think those teams are going to be that's going to be a battle, that division. I think the NFC West takes itself out by the time they get to the playoffs. I think they're all going to be so beat up with some of their schedules. Some of their schedules are they're brutal.
That's true.
Let's see. Super Touch says, what up, guys? You think Bernard will get the same treatment to play all 4 quarters of preseason this year, or is it too early to wait for next season?
No,
I think you'll see him play at some point.
They're going to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the first week or two, he doesn't play at all. Maybe the first week. Like, dude's never put a helmet on, Joey. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Even at rookie camp, from far away, he looked like he was wearing pads.
I know. He's huge. Yeah. He is. No, he is. There's no question about it. DeJean is 6'2", runs a 4.4 with great feet, IQ, instinct. Give me one reason he can't play outside corner. He can. I just think maybe just needs reps there. They threw him in that Dallas game, and he let he let a big catch by, was it Pickens? That game we basically gave away, and everybody was like, "Oh, he can't play corner, he can't play outside." You need reps on the outside. He just needs reps, but there's no way from a physical standpoint he can't play. He can't play it. He can play any position out there. There's no question.
Mm-hmm.
He's just really, really good in the slot, dude. He is. Speaking of good though, while we're here, I think we should talk about something that we know is good, my friend, and I think that is one Prize Picks. If you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I mean, this stream, the Philly Shakedown podcast, is sponsored by Prize Picks, the America's #1 sports pick app. If you love watching sports, you got to check it out. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite games. And the app is really easy to use. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats. We're talking points, yards, strikeouts, and more, and lock in your lineup. Philly, what do we got today?
So one of the cool things that they've been offering lately is they've been offering not just players plays, but team plays. And one of the things that I've been looking at is the teams and the playoff qualifiers. Who's going to get in? And one of the teams that I don't think is going to get in to the playoffs is the Dallas Cowboys. That's why today we are playing the Cowboys on making the playoffs. They are not making the playoffs, and we are putting our bread where our mouth is, and we are going Cowboys not to make the playoffs.
Okay. Well, if you guys are new to Prize Picks, just play a $5 lineup, get $50 in lineups instantly when you use code HMA. Play 5, get 50, build your entries right away. Just remember, Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. So there's a good chance you start playing today. So download the app, use code HMA, get in on the action. Trust me, it makes the game even more exciting. I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring the Philly Shakedown podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Prize Picks. No question about it. Sorry, Cowboy fans, but you got a rough one coming. You got a rough season coming. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. No, it's going to be. It is going to be an interesting season. I legit think their schedules. I actually think their schedule is harder than our schedule. To be honest with you. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, it's interesting because the Eagles right now, like a big piece of this whole season is what's going to happen in this AJ Brown trade. And I mean, from a like content making perspective, I kind of like it, because what are we talking about in June? You know what I mean? At least we're going to have a few weeks of June to be talking about this and sorting it out. I think that from a selfish standpoint, I like that, you know?
Yeah, it's a longer, usually when it's, you have a few weeks after the draft, and that's really it. You hit rookie camp and it's pretty much done by that time. So, I mean, because this looming AJ Brown trade, there's going to be more that's going to be talked about the next few weeks. So, more football is better. So,
yeah. Trade AJ to Jacksonville for Antonio Johnson. That's the move. Interesting. Yeah, I see and I'll throw this out to everybody in the chat. Would you rather have a draft pick, like a first round pick in 2027, or would you rather have a player? If you could choose one, what do you want? You know?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm getting a player, it's got to be somebody that could be a difference maker right now. Somebody.
Right. And okay, if you get a player, like to me, if you look at the Eagles and how they value positions, they're not going to trade AJ Brown for a safety. See, I think the one thing with the Derwin James stuff is we love Derwin James. You know, we think he's a great player. He is. But the Eagles, you got to look at how they value the safety position. They don't like to pay it. They don't like to pay safeties. Look at the amount of money they let Reed Blankenship walk away for. Look how they let C.J. Gardner-Johnson walk away. They don't want to pay a safety. And I think they want to use guys like Michael Carter, who's not making that much money, Andrew Makuba, who is on a rookie deal. And then they're going to go out and they're going to have Woolen on a 1-year deal. They're going to pay Cooper and Quinion. So I think when you look at the position, I don't think that the Eagles would trade him for a position of safety.
Yeah, and I think that I think they want to get like a mid-tier type player. Like they don't think they need some top quality, high-tier player for that position. Like they draft that Wisniewski kid that they really like. Yeah, he's a 7th round pick. But I mean, he's almost in, compared to Reed Blankenship from what Howie Roseman said. And, these guys are going to get reps and see what they can do. So I don't think they need they probably thinking they don't need to pay some guy at that spot at all, because you have so much you have great linebackers, you have good cornerbacks, you have a defensive line that should, destroy. I mean, that Grenard trade really sealed the deal for that defensive line, getting him added to the group, and you're expecting big years from Nolan Smith, hopefully. And, Jalen Hunt's going to continue what he's been doing,
Yeah. Dude says, if I get a player back to AJ trade, it has to be Christian Gonzalez. I mean, that's the interesting one to me. I think if the Pats did that, they would be nuts. Like I wouldn't, if I were the Pats, this wouldn't even be a consideration. But, for whatever reason, they haven't signed him to an extension yet. They only picked his contract up. And there apparently doesn't sound like there's a rush on it. And he's the kind of player I do see, unlike a lot of people, I do think Howie would take him for 2 years and let him go. I could totally see Howie doing something like that. Hell, we'll get him for 2 years. We'll let him play with those 3 guys. We'll play together. And then he can go. And we'll pay the other 2. I could see him doing something like that. I just don't know that New England would want to do it. It just seems like counterproductive to what they're trying to do. If you're trying to get A.J. Brown and trying to get over the top, do you really want to get rid of Christian Gonzalez? I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think they'll do it for safety. I don't know what other positions. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think Howie's going to be okay with the draft picks. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Trade like A.J. Brown and Woolen for Christian Gonzalez? I mean, that'd be pretty damn interesting. It would be very interesting, but I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not sure, yeah.
At this point, I would rather send him to Washington over New England, laugh out loud. Yeah, just because of the way they've been. I got you. I hear you.
I mean, there's rumors like even with the Stephon Diggs stuff that He might come back to New England. He might sign somewhere else. They could sign A.J. Brown and Diggs, or if they can't get A.J. Brown, then they will sign Diggs. I mean, you got to think of the contracts they have to sign too, because if they get A.J., they got to pay him after a year, and then they got to pay Christian Gonzalez in a couple of years. So those are two things that, we don't know what they could fit under their cap the next few years regarding what players they want to keep long term or whatever. So,
yeah, well, I still don't. Yeah, I mean, I still don't know why they would want Diggs back to begin with. Like, I don't know. This whole AJ Brown thing it's just got to end, dude. It's got to end because I'm tired of dealing with it. But I do think the Eagles, I think especially with the Patriots, they got to push for 2027 first, not a 2028. Because I think the Patriots are set up for like a disaster season. I mean, there's just too much controversy, too much crap going on. Vrabel's going to have this thing. This whole routine thing is not going away all year. It is going to be hounding them.
Yeah, and anything that she does is going to reflect on him. So, and she's been gone. Like, she resigned from from the Athletic. I mean, ever since her statement from resigning from the Athletic, she has been quiet. Like, she has no balls to show her face.
Well, I'm glad she has no balls, or we really got a problem.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Parker to fly 500. Howie would do something like that, but not with the best cornerback in the league. If we're to bring him in, it would be long term, and it would be for AJ Lafayette. Thing is how would you bring in Christian Gonzalez long term and then pay Quinyon Mitchell and then pay Cooper DeJean?
No.
That's the problem. You can't. They're not going to pay three of those guys like that. So one of them would most likely not be around. And the Eagles are always going to take care of their own first. So that's why I don't think they would do it. But if Howie says, "Shit, I could get 2 good years out of them," and play those guys for 2 years, and try to win, yeah, I can see Howie do that. I actually could see him doing that.
Yeah, we don't lose anything out of that. So if they acquired Gonzalez, it's not, and we have him for 2 years, I don't think we lose anything out of that. I think I think it's you're already championship bound. I think your defense will even better. I mean, who knows what they could do there. So I mean, adding him at that caliber on a cheap deal for 2 years on a rookie deal I'd be fine with it.
Be cheap, very cheap. Yeah, but I mean, to me, it's more of like, I just don't understand why New England would do it. Like, why would you want to create a hole there for AJ? Like, the idea is that you got a quarterback on a rookie contract and you want to pay everybody else. But that's New England. New England, who knows? Ryan says, AJ got married to his all-time lover this weekend. He gave the ring to himself. No, yeah, congratulations. He did get married this weekend. That's good. I'm glad for him.
Jalen Hurts wasn't there.
No, was Devontae Smith? I wonder.
No,
I think Howie could get 2 years from Gonzalez, and Howie could trade him for 2 ones. Yeah, I mean, Howie may look at it like, I can get him under contract, or I get him for 2 years, and then at what? Then I'll get a 3rd round pick when he goes, at worst, or franchise him and trade him. I mean, dude, don't put anything past Howie. I would not. But let's just talk, just talk for imaginary sake. What would this defense look like if you added Christian Gonzalez to it?
It'd be the best secondary in football. I mean,
not even close.
Yeah.
And what will you do with Woolen? Do you throw him in the trade, or do you keep him, move him to safety? Like, he is 6'4", I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's willing to be a backup. So, I mean, but he's getting 12.5 fully guaranteed. So, I mean, they could fit him. I mean, they probably could fit him.
Send AJ Brown and him both to New England?
Yeah.
Bring Gonzalez back.
They might say, hey, if we give you him, then we might have to, I was like, we might have to take Woolen maybe off your hands for the year, just so we have somebody. So it might be a fair trade, but we'll get the better end of it. And you have the best secondary in football.
Why was Christian Gonzalez at Devontae Smith's softball game? Why the frig of all the years of playing,
I don't know.
Was he there?
I don't know what relationship he has with a lot of these guys. I really didn't get that either. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I agree. The Eagles aren't trading AJ for big name players. They want picks. Picks are more valuable because you can draft good young talent. Yeah, I think you're probably right. But you can't deny that his name has been floated around out there. So,
would you take Chris Gonzalez over a second round pick?
Over a second round pick?
Yeah,
1,000%. Yeah, I would probably take him over a 2028 first. 2027 first, I'm probably keeping. I'm probably going with 2027 first. 2028 first, I'd probably take him. You're only going to keep. You would only get him for 2 years, but I mean that's 2 years where you've got the best secondary in football. You might win 2 Super Bowls. Shit.
Yeah.
Fabio Davis super chat was Malcolm a corner then safety before the Eagles. Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins was drafted as a cornerback. And then he converted to safety.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with I think he won a Super Bowl with the Saints his first year as a special teamer. I don't think he started his first year with the Saints either. I think he was purely a special teamer that year.
I want to say he was a nickel corner. I can't remember if he was outside or nickel, but he was definitely a corner.
Yeah,
that converted to safety. So he was, and you see that the Eagles like to do that with their nickel corners. They like to put them at safety. They did it with CJ. It worked well. I think they're looking at Michael Carter, and I think they're doing the same thing. That's why I think people keep saying Epps. I don't think Epps is starting. I think they want Carter to start and then go from there. But I expect them to go in with what they have at safety. And then once training camp starts, once preseason starts, once they get a kind of a feel for what's going on there, if they don't like what they see, I think that's when they bring in another safety.
Yeah, I mean, and you could tell with Fangio. Fangio is great to listen to at training camp because I feel like he really kind of tells you the truth without throwing players under the bus. Like when we were looking at the Adoree Jackson Ringo competition, he was very blunt about it. Even with what's his face at safety that we drafted, Makuba, like he missed some time, he came back, and he's very realistic on some of these guys. Like that corner spot was obviously a big one last year, but it'll be a good take for training camp this year. What happens there?
Yeah, it's going to be. Last year, Jordan Davis carried Jalen Carter at defensive tackle. Time for Jalen Carter to show potential now. This is it for Carter in terms of he's got to come in. Like people say, well, why hasn't he got an extension yet? I believe the reason why Carter hasn't got extended is I think they want to see what kind of work he does and puts in the off season. I think they want to see him come in ready to go because I think that he came in, he had a shoulder injury, but I don't think he was in the greatest shape either when he came in last year. Maybe he couldn't work out or whatever, but I think they want to see what kind of shape he's going to be in. And everything I've seen from videos of him working out, he looks good. Looks like he put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle. He looks like he's going to dominate this year, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The shoulder thing was just a cleanup that he I don't know why they never told him to go get that done earlier because he was on some pain tolerance thing where his shoulders would give out and then he would come back in every few snaps. So, and then when he got to the playoff game, the wild card game, I thought he actually looked really good. That was the Jalen.
He was great that San Francisco game. Yeah, he was. I think he had 2 sacks that game, didn't he? He was good. Yeah, he was good. Quinyon Mitchell was really good that game too. He had 2 picks. But yeah, I expect Jalen Carter to come in. I expect him to be in really good shape, and I actually think a contract gets done sometime during the early season next year with him. I think if he comes in ready to go, the Eagles are going to sign him. But I think they want to see how he is, And I think the really interesting guy is Nolan Smith, because I wonder what if Jalen Hunt takes another step. What if Grenard goes out and is fantastic? What's the deal with Nolan Smith? Where is he going to fit in long term? It's an interesting question.
It's the 5th-year option is always cheaper than giving Nolan Smith an extension. So I mean, it's a 2-year rental at this point, and that's as far as it goes right now. I mean, I don't see, unless he's got to wow. He really has to wow me. But if he gets hurt, like if he gets hurt and he misses like 4 weeks, I think I'm going to be pretty much done. I'll root for him. He'll be disruptive. He'll get his pressure rate will go up. He'll help be disruptive in the backfield. But other than that, I mean, I don't see a contract coming his way, an extension coming his way. If he's not even available at this point, that's why getting rid of Nakobe Dean was so tough. And usually when players are hurt, we want them, we just don't want to deal with it. We want them out the building. But every time Nakobe Dean would take one step on the field, it was like fucking magic. It was like first game he was in, the Vikings game or whatever, the first 2 games. I mean, he was amazing. We're like, damn, dude. Yeah. But $13.5 million a year on a guy that's missing that many games and getting to a bidding war with that, the Eagles just, it sucks, but they just couldn't go that direction. Jahad Campbell's got to go in there. He's going to miss time, obviously, because of the shoulder thing. So he won't be back till August. So I'm putting a lot on, Trotter Jr., I think Fangio loves Trotter. And I think every time Trotter touched the field, he reminds me of Nakobe Dean a lot too. He's very disruptive. He gets in the backfield. I think he's tightened up his game. He wraps up a lot better now. The Lawson kid, the undrafted free agent from Alabama that everyone was pissed that we got him. He's going to get a lot of snaps now because Campbell's not going to be in there for a bit. So see what that Lawson kid's got, since Bond is going to be a free agent after this year. So linebacker is good right now.
Yeah, I think linebacker is going to be great.
Yeah.
Donnie says 500. I think Eli Stowers is going to give a be massive to this offense. Yeah, I'm hopeful with Stowers and even Goddard. Like we talked about earlier with Mannion and coming from Green Bay, where you look at what Green Bay has done with their tight ends. I hope that will work out. Madon is him. I like him too. I mean, I love the linebackers that they have. Madon, Smile, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trotter is nowhere near Dean or Campbell. Stop it. Trotter's good. Stop shit.
Dude,
Trotter,
why? Because the guy doesn't play that much. Like, you have to look at every time he hits the field what he could do. Does he have the statistics? No, but because he's not a star, he has a lot of. It's a deep position right now.
When he came in, I liked what I saw.
Yes,
I don't think he's Jahad Campbell or Dean, but he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be, because Campbell needs to be Campbell and play with Bond, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
But I think the linebacker is a very strong position. I think the defensive line, now that you added Grenard, has become a strong position. If you told me, getting back to Nolan Smith, if you told me right now Nolan Smith is going to go out there and he's going to absolutely kill it the first 5-6 weeks of the season, I would not be shocked. But if you told me he goes out there and does nothing, I would not be shocked. Nolan Smith to me is like feast or famine. I don't know what to expect. I know he's got a lot of talent. I know that we saw for a 4-game stretch in the playoffs him play absolutely out of his mind. And my hope with him is that because of the long season last year in the Super Bowl and, him being injured, it really hurt him, and that coming back healthy this year will make a huge difference. I think that for a lot of players on this team, I wonder how much this team was just beat up from the season before. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
But, the Lawson kid, I mean, we'll see if he's, I like that they got him.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But I must ask you this. Why didn't he get drafted?
He had an ACL 2 years ago, but he led Alabama
2 years.
Yeah, but he led Alabama in tackles last year. That's what I don't get. Why? What's the knock on him then?
That's what I'm wondering. You always have to wonder. But to me, running back and linebackers are the two positions that I think if you're an undrafted free agent, you have the best shot to make it out of those two positions. I do. So we've had a lot of linebackers win jobs and make the team. So who knows? We'll see. But I love the defense. I think the defense is a lot better than a year ago on paper. I actually think Grenard is a bigger is an actual upgrade over Phillips.
100%, 100%.
Now Phillips may be younger and still have a bigger upside, but I don't think he's been as consistent as Grenard. And I also think Woolen is a dramatic upgrade over Adoree Jackson. That safety spot is fair to question it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think this defense is going to be nasty.
Yeah. I mean, Grenard he's not a sack chaser. He's not a Hassan Reddick where he has 3 sacks one month, 6 sacks another month. The good thing about Hassan Reddick was when you need him in that crucial 3rd, 4th down, he showed up. That's where we really liked him.
Yeah, he was a closer.
Yeah.
When you're down, when you're up 4, you need to finish a team off. He would end it, and that's what I really liked. But
Grenard, like, not even just as a pass rusher. I mean, even leading the team with a bum shoulder last year with 2 sacks, only playing 14 games, and pressure rate percentage leading the defense. I mean, he's really good against the run. Like, he ain't no slouch. Like, he could drop in coverage. He's good against the run. He could get to the quarterback. I mean, I think as a combination, he's the best fit. And we got him now. So, and he's going to be now you finally have that impact. Now all Jalen Hunt has to do is just take some of the productivity and just move it a little bit earlier in the season. Because sometimes, the Eagles gave it a shot last year to start Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt. Obviously, after the playoffs, they probably thought, okay, we can get rid of we can get rid of some of the vets on our team like Josh Sweat, and I think those 2 guys are ready to go. They gave them an opportunity. They really didn't show up beginning of the season. Then Jalen Hunt from that Vikings game and on, then he started to come on a little bit. So with Grenard here, it should be like if Carter doesn't look good off of that, I mean, that alone, I mean, lined up on his side, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he doesn't even need him, to be honest. But now you don't have these situations where your edge rushers aren't doing anything. Okay, your 2 DTs are going to get double teamed. Your edge rushers are going to be single blocked because no one's impactful. Because our edge rushers, really nobody worries about them. They could take the one-on-ones. But now with Grenard there now, it's going to be a lot harder to attack now. So
yeah, it is, no doubt. Chris says, Lawson to me is the guy every offseason we wonder how the hell he fell in the draft, then doesn't produce and we forget about it. There's always 1 or 2 guys like that. Always. You're right. You're right. Always a guy like that. Dude, people forget Tyler Robinson, like, where did he didn't do anything last year, and he was a drafted player. I'm curious to see what kind of leaps he's going to make. You're frozen, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah. Is Joey frozen to you guys?
No, I'm not frozen.
You're frozen, dude.
Oh, I am. Hold on.
Joey's frozen. Now he's moving. He just came to life.
Oh, that's so weird that happens when I go on a site. I don't know what it must be streaming. So it says, all right. So here it is. So here's what it says. It says Deontay Lawson, 4 Alabama linebacker, 2-time All-SEC performer, did not get drafted 26th draft, which opened the door for him to sign an undrafted free agent with the Eagles. Reasons he wasn't drafted: several factors contributed. Injury setbacks late in 24. Lawson suffered an ACL, also dealt with an ankle injury. These injuries likely affected his combine performance and could have impacted his draft stock. Now, his combine and physical profile, some analysts know that he didn't test fully at the combine and were skeptical about the size or explosiveness compared to other linebackers. Draft board position, while Pro Bowl Football Focus, and other boards ranked him highly, he was not picked on draft day, possibly due to the Eagles' need for a specific type of linebacker and other players ahead of him. So, I mean, it's really not much. It's really not much there. So
it could be a steal.
Yeah. So here's why the Eagles might have signed him. Obviously, playing with reunion with Jahad Campbell. Lawson reuniting with former Alabama teammate Jahad Campbell, who was drafted by the Eagles. Team needs, obviously. Well, not needs, but, that's what it says here. Leadership and experience. 2-time team captain starter in 37-plus games. Lawson brought leadership and high motor to the field. Led the team in tackles in 2025. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could just be one of those guys that
he just fell through the cracks,
Yeah.
It could totally be. Look, it happens every year. It happens. Yeah. We had it with TJ Edwards. And remember, I mean, TJ Edwards was a perfect example of that. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I'm excited to see him. Isn't there a tight end, too? And a tight end, I forget his name, undrafted big guy, too, that we got. So there's some interesting guys to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Are they all fighting here? They signed him because Clint Hurt, dumbass. Clint Hurt. I love Clint Hurt, dude. Clint Hurt, I think, is going to be the defensive coordinator. You see, he's in that draft room talking to Howie. Like, Clint Hurt, to me, is your defensive coordinator in waiting, in my opinion. I think he's going to be the coordinator when Vic Fangio finally retires.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I know.
Look.
Oh, what happened?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't really much to say. So.
Oh, I was just I'd say the white Kelly Greens. We were going to talk about that. I almost forgotten.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Jedi Master, for bringing it up. Let's go, Philly Joey. Let's get those white Kelly Green jerseys. So during the draft, like release. You had the Eagles. It was Hurts and Jordan Davis and Mulata, and Hurts, I guess, brought up that he would like to see the Eagles' white Kelly Greens come back. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's something fresh. I mean, I've always disliked the away uniforms. I've never liked them at all.
Yeah,
even wearing the black pants, I could deal with it. But I mean, I feel like the Eagles have to modernize. They need to make some changes. I feel like adding this would be great. It won't happen this year, obviously, but maybe in the coming couple of years, maybe there'll be some changes. But I would love it. I think it'd just be a fresh look.
Yeah, and here's a little mock-up of a potential what it could look like. Obviously, I add the white helmet to it. Some people don't like that, but I think it would be cool not only to get white. Update the white jerseys, but I would like to see, based upon Eagles tradition where they used to wear the white helmets on the road. I would love to see a white helmet like this go with the white jerseys. Just something like this that you could wear, I think would be just such a cool touch. With the ability to wear 3 jerseys now, I think a white helmet, because back in the day, the Eagles used to wear, and that was before my time, they'd have the Kelly Green helmets, then they would have the white helmets with the Kelly Green. You guys have seen that from the past on the road. I would love to see them bring that back. Something like this. Doesn't have to exactly be this, but something like this. Even if they don't go Kelly Green, I think, and we talked about this before the show, but they've pretty much got the same jersey since the 90s. It's had some minor tweaks, but it is in need of a refresh. And that's proven by the fact that when you look at the stadium now, it's all Kelly Green. The whole stadium is Kelly Green. Kelly Green sells more than anything right now. I bet you Kelly Green is the most popular third jersey of any team in the league.
Yeah, I remember it was like the 24, the first game we had them on. I remember texting you and I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, everybody's wearing Kelly Green.
The whole stadium is in Kelly Green. And let me tell you, Kelly Green nowadays, it pops on HDTV. It pops. I love it. I love it. But even if they say, well, we're going to keep the midnight green, I still think you need a refresh. And I would love to see a white jersey like this with a white helmet on the road. And then obviously you'd say, well, what's the alternative then? Then your third jersey would be something like this. This would become the Eagles' third, where you keep the black helmet, but you add Kelly Green wings and numbers. So you'd have the regular green, then you would have a white like this on the road, and then your alternate jersey, 2-3 times a year would be this. I think that's what the Eagles should do. I think that would be that would be awesome.
Yeah, we talked about before, like, the word art's changing now. Apparently there's the jerseys actually look different this year now because the Mekhi Lemon was at the rookie pictures. And now there's like a black background behind the word mark now. There's a black background now. So you have the stadium's leases due like in a few years, not a few years, but at least 2030 to 2032, whenever the lease for Lincoln Financial Field is now for the building, and seeing if they change stadiums, whether it's going to be a dome, whether we heard Jeffrey Lurie talk about a year ago. And, the logo might be modernized too. I mean, the wings might be modernized. Yeah. Everything might be.
Well, yeah, I think if you look at the word mark, the new one, I don't think it fits the jersey. The old logo with the, fit it much better. Not the new one. So I think we are going to see a refresh coming in the next few years. I've been saying that, but I truly believe it. And if they look at what the fans are buying, dude, the fans are buying Kelly Green. I'm telling you, that stadium. Go watch the beginning of a game in Philly. It's 80% Kelly Green. It just is. And I know some people say, well, they won midnight green, and so we got to – I don't care. I don't think the color has anything to do with when they won, okay? It has to do with the ownership. That's what it had to do with. So, I don't know. It's a shame that – and I blame Nick Sirianni for losing that game in Dallas last year. We were up 21-0 in the first quarter and blew the Kelly Green game. It pisses me off. It pisses me off, dude. But anyways, I think we've covered pretty much everything that's going on right now. I don't think there's much left. I mean, I feel like we're getting into that that AJ Brown countdown now. It's like that's the next thing that's really going to drop. I mean, they signed. I should say this. I don't think I said this earlier. I'll see if I have it here. But the Eagles did sign Eli Stowers today. So he signed. Most of our rookie class is pretty much already signed. So the Eagles are sitting pretty. It's now about what are you going to do with this A.J. Brown thing, and then the safety position. And I think the safety position is not going to be dealt with until camp. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't think they're in any rush. I think they want to see what they got, and then obviously Vic will get Howie to the changes if they need to add another player, which it could be a possibility. We'll see. But.
Yeah. What about the Eagles' rivalry jerseys? I don't know much about the rivalry jerseys. Do you know? Yeah, they are coming out. I don't know what that is. Like, what are they like? Does anybody right now have a rivalry jersey?
So they're having like this. So they're doing like some. It's like a foundation towards something, and they're wearing jerseys. The NFC. So I don't know. The NFC East is wearing like a specific
rivalry
jersey.
Colors. Is that what they're doing? They're wearing the colors of rivals or something.
I gotta look this up.
I don't know what it is, but obviously, like, I have a hat for all occasions. I got the white, green, I got a blue, I got a red, and I got a purple and gold. I should be okay whatever color we do, as long as it ain't them yellow and blue Frankfurt Yellow Jacket jerseys. Those are some of the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen, dude. I hate the Frankfurt. If Mav is here, man, he loves it. But
it starts this. It started last year, and then it's going on through 26, right? 27, 28. So ours,
but not everybody has it. Yeah.
No, not everybody. So ours will be next year.
What's it based upon, though? Is it like rivalry jersey? Is that you're wearing your rival's colors, or is it just like all one? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
just don't be the stupid. Just don't be stupid Frankfurt Yellow Jacket.
No, they're no. I'm looking at the picture now of the teams. No, they're the teams like colors, but they look like the same color scheme, but they just look a little bit more stylish. They look a little different. That's all. It's our colors. But
yeah, Tristan said, "Did 500? You missed it all. You missed it all. No, you didn't miss too much. You go back and watch the replay. That's the great thing. But no, I mean, we talked about the AJ Brown situation. We talked a little about our thoughts on the schedule. Talked a little bit about what they're going to do at the safety position and some of the plans going forward. So that's about it, really. I mean, nothing too much was happening. Philly enjoyed question. Is it wise to be doing Cooper's and Carter's contract at the same time and maybe Q's? I don't think you got a choice because I think they could stretch Q. Q can't get a contract until next year. So he has to play one more season, right? Is that what it is? He's eligible next year.
Yeah.
Q, I think Cooper DeJean is eligible now. So I think DeJean, I'm pretty sure he's eligible now because he doesn't have an option here. He's a second-round pick. So, and then Carter just became available. So I just don't think they have a choice. I expect some of these to get done during the season, probably.
Yeah.
Cooper's could be a hard one, though. See, because Cooper DeJean isn't a outside corner. Slot corners don't make the same amount of money as like an outside corner. DeJean may want big money. So you may be in a situation where they're going to have to, that may take a little longer to figure out what his value is and how they're going to pay him. I think you got to pay DeJean special. Like, I think you have to look at him as a defensive weapon and not a slot corner.
No,
and you have to pay him accordingly.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do right by him. They're not going to try to loophole their way around from paying him outside corner money, but I think they'll do him right. It's only he's too valuable. Like, I think you got to pay him as like an all around move around type player. I mean, because who knows? They add more to that position, and they might. You don't know what his future looks like. He could be all over the place for a lot of years. Yeah. So
exactly.
We'll see.
Bald Eagle David Super Chat. He goes, would you trade for Brown would you trade Brown for Olave? That's the frame. No, not straight up. I don't want Chris Olave straight up.
Hell no.
I would need more than that, a lot more. Look, I like how you can say whatever you want here. Hell yeah. But on Mark's channel, he's asking where the Eagle fans at. I typed 2 words in the chat and I'm timed out. Everyone's soft. Yeah, Mark times all the Eagle fans out. And then he says, where are the Eagle fans? Well, you timed them all out or hit them. That's what he does. It's true. It is true. No doubt about it. And hey, Bald Eagle, thank you for that super chat, by the way. Appreciate it. Nick's the most winning head coach. It's true. It is true. He's had the most talented roster of probably all these Eagle teams because that 2014 was very, very talented. I mean, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, this Eagles team. They're going to bounce back this year. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to probably wrap it up. Is there anything else, man, you wanted to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think we covered mostly everything since the schedule came out and, everything else that's been going on. So we got like a couple more weeks. So
yeah.
And we're back in
it. Yeah. Bald Eagle, thank you for super chat. He goes, that was the framework. Brown for Olave in a second. I didn't hear anything about Olave. Have you heard anything?
Not one thing.
I've never heard anything about Olave. Like what you're typing is the first time I've even heard his Olave's name in it. So that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you disrespect if I just keep it real about him, Tommy. I just keep it real. I don't hate Nick. I don't, but I don't think he's I don't think he's the reason why this team is winning. I think he's the reason why this team may be breaking up parts of their players. I think he's part of the reason why we had 2 seasons in which we collapsed. I think that his stubbornness in certain things drives me up a wall. I really feel like, he's the guy that makes you go to the prevent offense. He's the guy that keeps talking about 41-3 record. He's the one that said, I don't need the 2nd seed. I could be the 3rd seed. We're good with the 3rd seed. Like, those things to me drive me nuts. So I just got to keep it real. I think he's a coach who has benefited from immense talent that Howie Roseman has put together. That's how I feel. I don't hate the guy, but that's how I feel about him, though. He's got to prove to me he's more than just that.
No, I don't think he's a head coach that makes a difference from a production standpoint, but he's a rah-rah type guy. And he came to the Eagles in 21 because he was apparently supposed to be this offensive mind, and obviously that's not.
Yeah, for Wentz, he was supposed to help Wentz. And but I don't think he's necessarily a bad coach. I think being a head coach in a coaching role where he manages personalities, he deals with players, I think he does good.
Yeah, he needs to be a hands-off coach. He needs to be a hands-off coach. The ego has got to go away at some point, and he just needs to let the coordinators do their job fully, and that's it. So,
it's interesting that when you have a good coordinator, especially offensively, they go to Super Bowls. When you have a bad coordinator, the coach doesn't elevate that coordinator. It's just like a problem. And I think that the fact that you saw Steichen collapse, Kellen Moore mini collapse, I don't think that's a mistake. He has a great record as a head coach. He's won a Super Bowl. He's got a great record. But I really believe that right now we are sitting here in the golden era of Eagles football in terms of, I don't think the Eagles have produced all-around talent. And I mean all around, from both sides of the ball, like this stretch we're in right now. And I think that's Howie.
And within those couple years of collapses, when things are going bad, there's no changes made. Everything is just well, let's just do this the rest of the year until it's I told you so. Mm-hmm. Why are they doing that? They don't you can't give play calling to somebody. It's never that. There's never a report that comes out and says, oh, Nick is going to back away from play calling, or, it's always, you want to play the blame game after they lose a game, but they never blame one thing. They never take accountability. They'll say, oh, it could be coaching. It could be the player. They say everything. So there's no pointing fingers at one person or player or position or coach. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You and Joey disrespect the head coach. Joey disrespects Sirianni too.
Tommy, who are you? Who
are you? Everybody, let me introduce Tommy Sirianni to the show. Tommy Sirianni, Nick Sirianni's brother, is here. What's going on, dude? No, look, you're entitled to your opinion. If you think we're disrespecting, that's fine. I don't feel like I disrespect him. I feel like I'm keeping it real, but that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I respect it. You can think that if you want, but I'm not changing my opinion of him because somebody's accusing me of disrespecting him. Dude. You can say that at times I have disrespected Howie in the past, where I've gone off on him, and other guys, I'll take it. Nelson Aguilar, but I don't think I've done that with Nick. I think I've been fair with Nick, but I got to keep it real. I question how much he's just a guy that jumped on the bus for a ride, and how much it's him. I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see at some point. He's good enough to win. He's good enough to win if you have the things around him. And I don't think Nick should be fired or anything like that.
He's riding off the coattails of a good fucking roster that Howie Roseman puts together and a good OC. That's how I think of it. I'm not saying he doesn't give the Eagles nothing, because, he's, like you said, it comes to players and their mentals every week and keeping guys here every single week. I think he's good at doing that, but anything else, the guy just told us this offseason that when Mannion got hired, he sat down. He's like, oh, he was telling me about the scheme and I'm learning about it. If he puts his hands on this shit, not even knowing about it. Yeah. It's over, dude. Yeah. It's over.
I mean, people ask me what my biggest fear of this team is. It's Nick Sirianni trying to involve himself in the offense. That's my honest feeling. You want to say that's disrespectful or not? I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. If he gets involved, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. It just is. Jalen Stone says we got to give Hurts some consistency. 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. But I mean, hey, look, I respect it. You could feel that way. You're entitled to your opinion. I have no problem with that.
It's good hearing news that, Hurts now is like he's on board with everything and what's going on in Mannion's relationship. And we want this guy to have a relationship with the offensive coordinator and build something in the next few years. And hopefully that this coordinator will become the head coach in a couple of years. Or if there's any danger of losing him after a good season, they've got to promote his ass, or they got to fucking throw him a big suitcase of cash, because I can't go back to square one where Nick's going to have a free pass and still be here and give nothing else to the play calling. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. Antonio says how he changed his entire philosophy when Nick got here. I believe he had something to do with it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, actually, because if you go back to the Devontae Smith draft, leading up to it, Nick was saying certain things. I remember talking and thinking they're going to take Devontae Smith if you have a chance, and Nick is kind of seems like he's pushing that a little bit. So I do kind of agree in that sense with you there. Like I said, I don't think he's I think he's a good head coach, but I think he's just gotta stay in his lane, kind of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think too, like before Nick got here, I think Jeffrey Lurie got involved in way too many of these drafts. They weren't drafting from SEC schools. I remember after they drafted Dickerson, they drafted Devontae Smith. I think Jeffrey Lurie was like, "Oh, we should be drafting more from Alabama. We should be drafting more from some of these SEC schools." And I think they weren't drafting from good schools at all the top schools around the country. So
they were drafted from like USC. Oh, what? Never mind.
Dog, can't say that now. Can't say that.
No.
Like Aguilar, we shunned the Aguilar pick, but Aguilar was just a player that should have been drafted further down the line. I mean, we know that. It's not like he was a bad player for where he was picked, but I don't think he was the worst player I've ever seen. But
I agree. Hey, did you hear about AJ Brown's wedding? Yeah, heard about it. I saw that. It was very cool. Southside guy says Nick disrespect, Sirianni disrespect got to stop. I think the Nick Sirianni Charmin, like wrapping this guy up in boa wrap and Charmin and saying don't disrespect him, I think is the craziest thing. If you think a guy that sat there and did what he did at the end of the year with that second and third seed doesn't deserve criticism, I'm sorry. But it's gone from, disrespect, has in today's world become criticism, like legit criticism that's well deserved has become disrespect, and it's not the case. You're allowed to criticize a guy without being disrespectful, and I believe that's how we've been. I don't believe I've disrespected Nick Sirianni.
I think we've been fair, but I think not only we've been fair, I think we've been fucking patient too. But then when we see this whole thing be done yet again, it's we get triggered, and then we get pissed off real quick. Like, you got to give this 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're at a bye week, and you're still your offense isn't on track, and then 2 games coming out of the bye week, you look even worse than you did before the bye.
Right.
It's just
Gentleman Culture says, he says you could tell how much players respect Nick. That's why guys are underestimated by him. Not a great play card, but all players buy in. Most coaches don't have that ability.
I get it.
I guess maybe not. Maybe Hurts doesn't. Maybe that's why he had problems and issues with Patullo. Maybe that's why AJ Brown's asking for a trade. How do we really know? I mean, I think some guys do respect him in that way, and I think as a head coach, that's fine. But that doesn't mean he's beyond criticism. You know, Ryan says toxic Philly fans hating on the coach, but don't hate on Hurts. Frauds. Okay, Ryan, I'll remember you said that, man. I remember you just called us frauds because we tell the truth about the coach. You want us to hate on Hurts, but you don't. But you guys ignore the things that the coach does. The coach doesn't put Hurts in the right position. I've said this before. You show me this year, and Hurts goes out and struggles in the same way with Nick's hands off this offense, then I will say a lot more about Hurts. But to me, it hasn't been Hurts. It's been the coach handcuffing Hurts. And we're going to find out. But I'll remember you said that.
Yeah, I don't get how you could bypass.
I remember you said that.
I don't get how you bypass the coaching staff and go straight to the quarterback before anybody else. But the first one you got to blame is the fucking quarterback, which is insane.
You know, the week 3 is the perfect example. A.J. Brown comes out after they beat the Rams. We aren't this passive team. We need to be killers. We need to go out there and be killers. Jalen Hurts, same thing. Devontae Smith, same thing. Saquon Barkley they all said the same thing. And what does the coach do? Ignores it. And people get mad if you bring that up. And it was just the truth. I have no issue. You think I'm too hard on Nick and not hard on Hurts? So be it. But I think I'm fair with Nick. And I think I'm fair with Jalen. That's the truth. That's it. You know? But that's fine. That's fine. You can love on Nick Sirianni all you want. But to me, he's got to prove a lot more than Jalen Hurts has got to prove. Sorry.
That's for fucking sure. Yeah.
That's the truth. If you want to tell me who's more important to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni, I'm sorry. It's Jalen Hurts every day of the week. And it's not even close. It's not even close. I at this point, I honestly think Nick Sirianni's like Barry Switzer of the Eagles. Until he can prove me wrong. That's what I think. And I don't hate him. But I think that's this idea that you know the Eagles are winning all these games because of him. I just don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with it at all. Chubb the Pupper David Super Chat. He goes, how do we say we got a better offensive coordinator with no play calling experience, lost best edge, best wide receiver, and our quarterback smiling too much? He looks unfocused, though. Yeah, but he's smiling in May. He's smiling in May. The guys can smile in May, dude.
Fucking Eagles.
Here's my thing. You can't. I don't care. That the guys never called a play. Dude, that offense was so bad last year. It kept getting worse, dude. It can't get worse. You're Pumper. I'd rather you call the plays. I'd rather you call the plays than Patullo.
Yeah.
Vontae Jones, David Super Chat. I agree with you, Philly. Also, Jeff McClain said Nick has no control of the offense this season, and it's the least amount of control he's ever had. And that's a good thing.
I hope that's true.
Focus on where his strengths are as a head coach. Personalities, dealing with players, those things, you know? That's what I said.
It was either they hire a coach that was going to be here for a 1-year pit stop, because that's what it was. It was a 1-year pit stop. That's why, because these guys like the ex-Giants coach, these other veteran play callers are going to come here for 1 year. They want to help build something. They want to take a team with more job stability for the next few years to be like, hey, I want to take a quarterback. I want to build an offense. I want to build a defense, and I want to be a part of that and get reputation. All these guys that do that, these veteran play callers, I'll come to the Eagles for 1 year. We'll just have reputation for 1 year, and they'll be gone. You know what I mean? So how the Eagles have to get a new somebody in the building. Like these are how these other coaches, these other veteran coaches, they were once first-time play callers too at one point in the NFL. So, I mean, at some point, somebody has to start the recycling process of that again. The Eagles are doing that. I mean, look, when Batul was the offensive coordinator, got hired for the position, I didn't hear much fluff about him. I mean, even by anybody else. I mean, Mannion got hired, and it was just like, oh, if Mannion gets glazed by every fucking coach that's out there, which is a nice sign that everyone believes in this guy, which is great. But the Eagles have to start somewhere. I don't know if this is going to work out, but I'm surely going to be more optimistic that, like Philly said, it's going to be better than fucking last year, because that shit last year, it was like, it wasn't even like two brain cells that were put together to put an offense together. There was nobody else that we could turn play calling to. We just got to give it a chance. And trust me, I'm the most critical fucking guy that shits on things when it goes down. Trust me, I'm willing to give it a chance.
I honestly don't know how the Eagles even I don't understand how Hurts even put the numbers up he did. To be quite honest with you, the predictability of that offense was so inept. How they even put up the numbers they did was beyond me. It was beyond me. I'm sorry. Jalen Stone says, I agree. I feel like Hurts has been proved he can win us games. He has. Big games, bowls, especially with the right play calling. Yeah. How many guys in history of the NFL, just look it up, have gone to 2 Super Bowls as a starting quarterback and won one? There's not that many. And it's very hard to do.
And I understand it's a risk. Like, I get it. Like, oh, he's not a lock. Like, I get he's not a lock because we have somewhat of a roster right now that we can't afford to have some rookie play caller to come in and start doing things. Okay. So obviously obviously Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, I think like they gave Nick some shit. Like, things have got to change. Like, this whole thing has got to change. Now Nick is learning a brand new scheme that he has no idea of. Okay. And this should give him more of a possibility now that he'll never touch play calling ever again, that he'll leave the play calling to Sean Mannion and see what happens. But we have to build it somewhere. Okay. If a guy like Kellen Moore could come in here his first year, I mean, obviously very experienced, but his first year with the best roster he's ever coached in football, look what happens. When Hurts is with a coordinator and Shane Steichen for 2 years, when they're whether it's good play calling on top of this roster or it's an OC he's been with more than a year, it's a success every single time. Every time. It's too talented. Like, you made a wild card game on top of that bad play calling. I mean, you made the playoffs with that. If that coach, if those 2 coaches were on another team, they would probably only have like 6-7 wins. Probably not even that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. 9-3 to 11-6. You were 9-3 at one point. That was a mini collapse last year.
They were 7-2 at one point. I was watching the Detroit game again. Yesterday from last year. They were 7-2 playing that game. They were 7-2, number 1 seed at the time. It's crazy. And Devontae Jones says, thank you for super chat. Pumper, thank you for super chat. At Bird Gang, thank you for this super chat. He goes, Philly, I watched Tulsa King because of you, and I love it. So allow me to return a favor. Check out Nemesis on Netflix. Go Birds, Hurts over. Okay, Nemesis. All right, I'm gonna check that out. I will check that out. Sounds interesting. And thank you for super chat. Nemesis. Okay. Jubby, thank you for super chat. So many of Nick's boyfriends in here. Laugh out loud. I don't want to criticize them, but I really, in all honesty, I really believe that prevent offense and the way that they ran that off, I really believe that was him. And I really believe he didn't listen to a lot of guys last year. And then the whole thing with the second, seed, and then finding out that they kind of went behind Stoutland's back. Like, those things don't add up. But
and then and I'm just saying, not to cut you off. Then you had to force feed AJ Brown in games. You had to keep him fucking happy all year. It was one thing after another. So there were so many things that Hurts had to do. Whatever the coaches were telling him, I mean, they never really used him as a mobile quarterback. I mean, you could tell with the body language in those second halves of those games where the Eagles had more rhythm in the first half. And even when we didn't throw to AJ Brown, we actually looked better than we ever did. And then that second half, you just saw them get into a rut. And then the defense has to say, you had a Super Bowl you had a Super Bowl winning defense. I mean, you had just insane.
Yeah. So you just neglect the O-line play. No, we don't. There's nothing. There's nothing we have talked. I don't know who American Bully. I don't recognize your name, so forgive me. But there's nothing we have talked about and complained more about than the offensive line play of a year ago. So that's just not true. We've talked countless about the offensive line play. It's all we've been talking about pretty much. So no, I don't agree with that. That's just not true. Nick was a problem. I think he's a big part. I mean, and the key, to that offense is going to be again this year the offensive line. No question about it. Joey, you there? Looks like Joey froze up. Joey, I don't know what happened. So Joey got tossed, I guess. But anyways, yeah. So who knows? The statement he was saying. I missed. I don't know what he was saying. And I got to go back to it. Do you think the white Kelly Green's uniforms? No, we won't see it this year. Maybe in a few years. It'd be nice though. I'm glad Hurts spoke up about it. I'm glad he spoke up about it. Yeah, I don't know. Joey went out. Let me see if he's come back. Otherwise, I'll just end it. His face froze. Maybe he just got sick of hearing Nick's name and just had to go have a rant. Just go off. Oh, his power went out. All right, his power is gone down. So it's all good. But anyways, we'll end this here, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining. It's interesting conversation. No doubt about it. I apologize for not being clear. Joey was saying if we had a better play call, we could have went to the Super Bowl, but we couldn't because the line stunk. There was no question about it. No need to apologize. There's no need to apologize. The offensive line, if that's going and that's dominant, then it's not going to matter. See, I really think the attitude last year going into the season was our offensive line is dominant. Everybody knows what we're going to do, but we're going to do it anyways, and they can't stop us. And when that offensive line wasn't healthy, we needed that coaching to rise up and kind of help us out there, and it couldn't. And I think that's where we got in trouble. This offensive line's got to be better. Oh, right back at you, Southside. Go Birds. Love your content. Don't beat it. Thank you so much. Hurts scared to run. What a joke. I don't think he's scared to run. I don't think he's scared to run. But I do think when you have a franchise quarterback making that much money, I think teams they don't want to see it as much because they're afraid he's going to get hurt. To me, this is this year is going to tell us everything we want to know. You want to know, is it Jalen Hurts the problem? Is it the coaching the problem? I think this is the year that we can put that argument to rest. I really, really do. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. Joey's power is out. Pay your bills, Joey. So we are going to let it go, and I'm going to end this. I hope you guys all have a great afternoon. Obviously, I will be back tomorrow, and I hope to see you guys then. With that said, we're going to get out of here. Peace out. Love yous. Talk to you later. Bye.
You got plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the ball. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. You gotta do something. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.